This is the Stockwell-Eldridge Show, giving you the real-time information you need to make educated decisions about buying and selling in the world-renowned Twin Cities. Now your hosts and real estate experts, Jason Stockwell and Don Eldridge.
Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
And I'm Don Eldridge with RE/MAX Results. Thanks for tuning in this morning.
We have a great show for you. We have Stefani Havel back in the house.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to be back.
And we'll get into this because I want to ask you about this, but you were at a big event, which I am jealous and would like to go to someday.
Jason, I'm going to make you commit to going Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. The man, I'm like kind of borderline obsessed now with him.
Yeah, and he's getting older, not to say anything bad, but I want to go before he gets too old,
Oh,
right?
my God. He's incredible at 56 years old. And 14 hours, well, and we can talk more about it later, too, but one day we went for 14 hours. And I was tired. I'm thinking, I'm tired. This guy is amazing. He's 56 years old. And he's like, and, I mean, just going like nonstop. But you just walk out of there like, he talks a lot about gratitude and grace, and the man, you can tell he's so genuinely filled up with love and appreciation and just a care to like build up other people.
Yeah.
And then it was an auditorium. It was his biggest one ever, 10,500 people.
Wow.
And I guarantee you 10,000 people were crying on a consistent basis in there, myself
Really?
included. Imagine that, And everybody just moved to tears because of what he tells you and what he has you think about and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Tony Robbins, if you don't know who he is, check him out. He's pure, he's authentic. And he's got another one in March in Los Angeles that I'm considering going back to again and taking my niece and nephews with me.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So it must have been very good for you. That's
Amazing.
Great.
I'll keep interjecting. I was talking to somebody the other day. They're like, oh, my God, you've said this guy's name like 8 times. I'm like, I know, but everything he said was so – his biggest thing was life is happening for you, not to you. And I can tell you, I was so glad after the election. I went right the day after the election and was on Tuesday. I left on Wednesday. So happy because I just felt like I escaped all the negativity and on Facebook and all this kind of stuff. And I was just in an environment where, none of that matters. It talked about like what you can control, and so much of it, like you can be a good person and you can make a difference in your community and stop homelessness right in Blaine, Minnesota, where I live or wherever you live, and you can be an advocate for crime and all that kind of stuff. You don't need Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton to, take care of the crime in your community or the homelessness or anything like that. So
Did you walk across fire?
I did. I absolutely.
You did?
You did.
For real?
Oh, of course. Yeah, they're fire calls. I'll show you a picture. Absolutely.
I read an article about that a few weeks, maybe as a month or so, or 2 months, 3 months, who knows, where people had some issues with that because they walked across and they ended up burning their feet and they were mad at Tony Robbins. I think or someone was mad at him.
Well, and he touches on that. I mean, out of 10,500 people, I think maybe one person might have might have a slight blister on their foot.
Really? So you did that?
Yes.
I cannot believe you did that.
Yes.
I was going to.
Well, he talks about it for almost an hour before you do it. I mean, kind of you're talking about it through the whole day, but it's really that whole thing. I mean, it's about the power of
you doing that, which is awesome.
Oh my gosh.
That you did it. I think that's great.
You are like invincible. When you do, you're like, you freaking kidding me? Of course I'm going to do this. That's what I'm saying. Did you do it?
Was it hot? Like, could you feel heat?
Well, you don't really feel it because your mind, you are in such a different state. Because
that's what he talks
you
about,
are
states.
Just
yeah.
Totally. You're having a bad day. He said, first of all, it says make your move. This is my move. Yes, and he says stand up, go for a walk, just shut up and say yes, yes, and then all of a sudden, like you're not, it's just changing your state.
Changing your state because you stay. Yeah, if you get in a bad state,
and you're in a funk, and I don't want to get off the couch. I'm depressed. I can't take this. I'm stressed. I can't breathe. We all do it. One of those where I get to the point where like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And I start tapping my chest. Whatever. It's a habit that I do. And it's like, all of a sudden he talks about it, just change your state. So when you go to walk on this fire, it's just like, you're just in this state of like, I am unstoppable. And it's about removing your limiting beliefs. Like I met people that there was a person that I met that he stuttered, and really bad. And he said, I thought that I would never find a woman to be with, or I'll never get a job because people look at me because I stutter. And just so Tony, there's a woman who lost a child, her husband really wanted a baby and she didn't. And she's like, I almost feel guilty because I lost this baby, and I'm kind of glad because I'm not ready. I'll be a terrible mother.
Wow.
And so all these things that people tell themselves,
Yeah.
and so he just, and you're sharing. I mean, you're in there hugging and you're high-fiving people. I was just
my
like,
goodness.
woo! I've never had so many hugs and high fives and everything like that. But it's just, so that's why when it says when you go to walk on that fire, it's just, you're in such a state that, you're not thinking about, like, that's the thing, you're not thinking about these hot coals. Oh my God, you are just thinking, like it even tells you to get an alter ego name, like I am Sheena, I am invincible, I am amazing, I'm incredible, I can do anything. And so you're just in this high and you just do it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. And all of a sudden you do feel like a little heat on your feet, like after you walk off. But, there's water and grass that you wipe off all the, they said what happened is somebody might have gotten like a little coal stuck in between their toes, and then that's what burned up.
So how many days was this? Was this a 3 day?
4 days.
4 days.
Well, 3.5. You got there, yeah. And but yeah, check him out. Tony Robbins. The next one he has is in. But he also, this guy. I would love to read the book. His name is Wim Hof, I think. And this guy, like he conditioned his mind and his body, so like he swam in the ocean like in shorts or something, like his body, like to not feel the cold. He climbed Mount Everest at 76 years old.
Wow.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can barely climb the stairs at the radio station here. And this guy's freaking climbing Mount Everest at 76 years old. He gets up on stage, he's jumping around, he goes into the splits and does all this stuff, and you're like, are you kidding me? But again, he's conditioned as Tony Robbins. I mean, the guy lives on 5 hours of sleep, but he takes incredible care of his body, what he puts in his body, what he thinks about, and his mantra. And you can tell it just bleeds out of him. You just feel it when you're around him.
The energy he must have. And when I about 10 years ago or 12 years ago, a friend of mine, I got a bunch of his DVD or audio discs.
Yep.
And I always wanted to go to one of his live seminars, but I never did. But his audio discs are amazing. And he talks about that. Change your state.
Yep.
Get up in the morning, do something active right away. Be grateful. Say the grateful things you are for right away with gratitude, because that starts your day right away with that attitude where you're going to have a positive things happen to you instead of bringing in and drawing in.
And people, so many things, like it's really taking gratitude to another level. Like, and I've heard this before, people say, oh, I'm just so thankful that I have food to eat. Well, how about for the grocers that brought that food to the grocery store? And how about for the farmers? How about for the rain that came down and made the seeds of those fruits and grew that fruit tree? I mean, I don't know, I have anything to be thankful for. Well, can you hear?
It can be as simple as,
can you see your children? Can you hear your child's voice? Even when they're screaming, you can hear it. You have 2 legs to walk with. You have fingers. You can drive. Like, because he talked about this woman. He's like, is anybody here depressed, having a bad day? Like, all these people raise their hand. And she's like, well, I just flew in from Brazil. He's like, oh, you flew in from Brazil. He's like, did you have a seat on the plane? She's like, yeah. He's like, did you drink water? Clean water? Well, yeah. Did you get something to eat? Well, yeah. He's like, oh, must have been so terrible that you had to sit, eat, and drink for 10 hours from Brazil to San Jose, California. And you can just like, seriously, people, like, and so it is. It's just, that gratitude, like, thank you that I have my heart is beating. Blood is pumping through my veins.
Yep.
I have teeth. I can taste food. Like, so that's really what it is. Yeah. Taking massive action. So many people like
massive action.
Massive action. He says it all the time. If, you want to do something, again, with the politics, everybody, then do something about it instead of whining or I have no control. Yes, you can. You don't have to, like, you want to lose weight. You don't have to put that food in your mouth. You can get out and walk. You can exercise. Like I was thinking, I complain about my knees, my arthritis. Okay, here's a guy 76 years old climbing freaking Mount Everest. I could sit in a chair and I can raise my arms though. That's exercise, right? I can twist in my chair if I don't have legs, or if I don't have arms, you can still move your legs and everything like that. So I could talk about it for hours, but Tony Robbins, check his CDs.
He's good.
He does one last thing. He's got I'm Not Your Guru, and I guess it's on Netflix. But if you have teenagers, there was a lot of young people
Really?
in the auditorium, college
cool.
kids and young kids. And I
That's
think,
good to see.
Wow, I wish as a college kid or a teenager I would have known more
And the
about
key
them.
is to stay plugged in, because the world and the stuff is all, the negativity can bring you down, and if you don't stay plugged in and get that positive message, it can it can be brought down pretty easily by negative circumstances. But if you don't get that,
Right. Well, you almost get depressed when you come out. I'm like, I don't want to leave my bubble and all my friends. And even on the plane, I was talking to people that were there. I met a guy in the airport, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we sat on the plane next to each other, and we didn't even talk about it. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to get your phone number and your Facebook page, and we got to stay connected. But you're like, okay, I'm gonna think positive things when my phone's ringing off the hook, and people are sending me nasty emails like. It's all good.
Yeah, you can get through it all. And even stuff like bills and taxes. Katie, my wife, has a little Post-it note that says, I am grateful for the ability to pay my bills or taxes or whatever it is. Because everybody thinks, oh my gosh, all this stuff. And just that you have the ability to pay it is a good thing.
Right. You have paid taxes. That means you're working. You're making money.
Yeah.
And he even says if you're making, $50,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of income earners in, I think, United States, and like 0.00% in the country, in the world, if you're making $50,000 a year. Like, people think, oh my gosh, I make peanuts. If people only knew the poverty that some people are in, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, that's great. So, Stefani Havel, great to have you back, and you're pumped and excited, and that's great, and we want to talk more about that. We'll talk about the market update in real estate. One quick thing I wanted to touch base on before we get into that, and we have a break coming up here, is this is from Elliot Eisenberg. He said, despite Donald Trump losing, oh no, this isn't the one. This is the one right here that I wanted to talk. It said
from last night.
It said, with Trump in charge, but with so much still unknown, GDP growth will probably be growing a bit faster in 2017. And inflation will also rise in 2017. And he also predicts that unemployment will fall down to 4.6% by the end of 2017. And then the chances of a recession in 2017 have declined slightly. So there's a 20% chance of a recession in 2017. So all in all, 2017 looks to be good for real estate, for many sectors. I'm sure in stocks and bonds and everything like that. Those look good for 2017. So when we get back from the show, we'll introduce our special guest, Rebecca Boss.
I love the last name.
Boss, like a boss, right? You probably get that a lot.
And she is the boss.
Yes, and we'll talk about Rebecca Boss, her business, what she does, and then we'll talk about the market update and real estate and what's going on here. For November, approaching Thanksgiving, it's been absolutely amazing, the real estate market. Through the hurdles of the election and rates and all this stuff going on, the negativity in the world, the market has been really, really strong, and I think it's going to be one of those years where it comes out really strong.
Awesome.
And it's going to come in really strong next year, too. So.
Well, and that great weather helped, too.
Oh, that's been a big blessing. So we'll be back with more. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge with RE/MAX Results.